I'm Sarah Weber, the Brain Cleanup Coach, and this is your 10-minute mindset fix on being serious. Now, this this concept came to mind because of a client that I've been working with in a conversation we were having on professionalism and looking unprofessional, and it just brought to mind seriousness. Like what we give serious consideration to in our lives, or what we label as serious. Now, there are a lot of serious things happening in the world, and there is nothing wrong with labeling something as serious. Seriousness is like a way that our brain gets our attention, makes us pay attention to something. But we can also start to label things in our life serious that don't necessarily need that label, or giving it that label kind of makes it harder to deal with that circumstance or scenario in our life. Because here's a metaphor for seriousness. And first of all, let me back up. Seriousness, labeling something as serious, is a byproduct of fear, right? Our brain has labeled something, has deemed something as possibly dangerous. And so it generates some fear, and then we give weight to that thing. We get serious about it. And so using that imagery of weight, it's kind of like when you drop anchor in a ship, right? And it just keeps that ship there in the same place. And the reason our brain does this is to keep us attentive, to keep our attention focused on something. Because when something is lighthearted or carefree, we don't necessarily feel like we need to focus on it, right? It's not serious, but a serious matter, a serious issue requires our attention. But the brain can also get into the habit of labeling lots of things serious. And I'm sure you know some people like this in your life. Maybe it's you that takes a lot of things really, really seriously. Now, this may be partially innate personality, but a lot of that is learned. We learn to be fearful of something, to think that we need to give our attention, to place our attention on it. But there are many situations in life where we truly don't have to take something as seriously as maybe we have learned to or have been prompted to. But it can be kind of hard to extricate yourself from that habit. But it is possible. And one of the first steps to doing that is just recognizing that your brain is suggesting that you take something seriously. But you can ask yourself, well, how serious is this really? Because what happens is our brains, they focus in on something, and then they start to create future stories about them. And that's what makes it take it seriously. Any situation, any circumstance happening, whether in our lives or to someone else, we think about, well, what is this going to create in the future? And does this need more of my attention now? Right? And so just recognizing that our brain is giving us that prompt, but do we need to give it the weight that our brain wants us to give it weight to? And if you consciously think about that and the answer is no, then you can pull back a little. You don't need to have your anchor dropped there. You can sail on, and it's okay. So let's go ahead and get into a meditation that just is going to allow us to pull our anchors up. And that's exactly what we're going to visualize. It's just visualizing being stuck in a place, being kind of anchored down by seriousness, but allowing ourselves to pull that anchor up and start at least to free float a little bit again. If nothing else, even if we don't sail away, we're just going to make ourselves a little more buoyant. Okay, and you can, if you want to, recall or call to mind a situation right now in your life that's feeling very serious, but you can ask yourself, do I need to place all this weight, give all this weight and energy to this thing? And it's okay if you answer yes, because sometimes we do need to be serious about things. But maybe there's something in your life that you don't need to be so serious about. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our meditation. Go ahead, we're going to start with 3 deep breaths, eyes open, and on the 3rd exhale, we will close our eyes. We're going to breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth, and go ahead and just do this at the pace that is comfortable for you. Let's begin. Final inhale. Exhale. Close your eyes. You can let your breathing return to normal, but I want you to imagine as you exhale, just releasing that kind of serious tension that can take hold in your body. Feel your chest rise and fall with your breath. And imagine with each exhale, your body's just letting go of some of that tension. There's nothing serious about this moment. You can just let that tension move out of your body with your breath. And now go ahead and bring to mind the image of a boat or a ship, however you see it, on the ocean, and it is anchored in place. And magically, within your body, you can feel this boat and the tug and pull of the ocean and the tides, but it keeps being kept held in place by that anchor. You can feel the tension on the chain. And with the natural currents of life with the ocean, the boat wants to move, but it can't because it's anchored in place. But now we're going to lift the anchor. We're going to pull that anchor up. And as the chain pulls up and the anchor starts to lift from the sea floor, there's a little more buoyancy, a little more freedom. And as that anchor has been being pulled into the body of the boat or the ship, there's even more freedom of movement now. And as that anchor is finally pulled all the way up, that boat or that ship is set adrift now to naturally flow with the currents and the movement of the water of life. Now go ahead and take A deep breath in. Exhale and open your eyes. And take this forward with you today. Maybe recognize any moments where you're getting really serious about something that doesn't necessarily require a serious moment, a lot of weight and attention, but for whatever reason you've learned or your brain has learned to prompt you to pay attention to it and make it serious. The more you can do this and recognize in the moment that you're just making it serious through thinking, the more you can start to pull that anchor up, create a little more buoyancy and movement in your life. Thank you for joining me for this talk and meditation, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day.